Hello, everyone. I have something to share. Okay, so we have entered the goddess universe, and I wanted to explain why that has happened. And a lot of it has to do with Inanna, the last goddess that was a queen here on the earth who was worshipped in Mesopotamia. So, after this video, I think everything will make sense. Everything's going to make sense for everybody. Okay, so Inanna was a regular human queen, and she embodied all of the traits of the divine feminine. And so she was nurturing, she was receptive, she was giving and caring, she cared about her community, she took care of, like, there are myths about Inanna is like technically in mythology, but I think she's also in history, like studied in history as a real figure and everything, because there's statues of her, there's written works on her and everything like that. And Inanna was the perfect example of a feminine, basically. And Inanna, at the time, people wore golden hats that had points like this, and she had a bunch of like men who were like fought for her. There were people chanting her name, Inanna, Inanna. She was very highly looked at as just, she was wonderful. She made the community grow. She was great for politics. She built temples. She taught people about like sovereignty and connectedness. She was wonderful for the planet. And but what we don't know is that all of the history of the planet was erased when they erased Inanna, the true story of Inanna. What happened was there were 3 different gods, and the gods' names were Anu, Enlil, and Enki. You can look them up. And Anu was over the wind. Enlil was over the water. No, Enki was in the water. And Enlil was something else. You can look it up, I don't know. But those 3 gods together became very jealous of Inanna. And Inanna, so there's something called the Me. When you look up the story of Enki, what you'll see is that when I looked up the story of Enki, it says that he heard about a flood that was going to happen as a god, and he was the one that warned the people about the flood. So he started all of that, like the Bible and, the Abrahamic religions that believe in the Noah story with the flood. So he started that, and basically that was because they were hiding Inanna. They told Inanna to basically commit suicide, and then, I don't know if I can say that, but, and then she entered the underworld, where she had 7 different gates that she had to go through, but that was actually her losing 7 soul pieces. And so she lost 7 soul pieces as she went, but what she didn't realize is that the entire underworld was made up. It was made by those 3 gods, and it was a made-up thing to trap her while they took over the earth and made it misogynistic. They erased all of the feminine, and that's what we see now today. We see only the masculine that is now able to like function in this world easily. And so a couple days ago, I changed it back to the goddess universe. And all of us did, collectively, as women. We had enough. And I personally banished the 3 gods. And you may notice as well that the names of these gods, Anu, Enlil, and Enki, kind of sound like Anunnaki. I think that that's what they are. I don't believe in the Anunnaki story. I believe that those 3 gods together make up this 3 god thing that worked to make the entire universe only value masculine. But in the process of being worshipped, they wanted all that power. They made masculinity toxic, and now it's completely out of balance. So now Inanna is rising, the feminine is rising, and we now have to build a universe where all the systems that were put in place need to go down and not work anymore. So that's what I think is going to happen. And I think that what we need to do is like, we'll have like a bunch of land. I'm going to build like a temple for the goddess universe, and I want cob houses all over and families that can come and stay there, and we'll garden, and we'll just make a new universe. And our currency can be a different type of currency, like trade and like crystals and like things like that. So that's what I think. But I know when and then I painted this painting, and it's called Inanna. And, um, and so, yeah, that's why I'm just excited for the divine feminine to rise. But you can look up the stories of Anu, and Enki, and you can look up the story of Inanna. And you'll notice that if that's true, if what I'm saying is true, it makes all the sense in the world. That it was them. But we've banished them now. The goddesses, I worked with Mother Isis, I worked with Hecate, I even worked with the god Thoth, and the feminine, it is agreed that the feminine has to rise, not because, well, first of all, because the feminines are the natural leaders. They always have been in the spirit realm and everything. Like, we are actually the leaders, not in a masculine way. We're just nurturing, like, like we tell people to rest when they need to rest. So anyway, I don't know, I probably sound a little crazy, but I really believe this. Ever since reading Inanna, I'm someone who loves to dive deep into myths. Sorry, my phone almost died. But I like to dive deep into myths, and I really think that that's where the true history is, since it's kind of clear to me. I'm a substitute teacher, I'm a teacher, I've learned this stuff that we've been teaching everyone, and I don't think it's real. I think it's made up. And I think we're about to discover what's real in the goddess universe.